Nothing original here.
I hope you're having the best birthday you've ever had. Thank you for everything.
Which is really such a fake. When she was younger.
Hi, Daddy. I'm English award.
100% a bully.
I think when I was 30, if I thought about 50, I thought that is an awful long way away. And I don't really need to think about it. And then I blinked and I'm 50. That's crazy.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Tom Bower, the legendary royal author, is sharpening his quill for a new edition of his book set to reveal huge secrets inside Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's marriage.
But what is she not contextually aware of? She's trying to hide something. This is really sloppy.
He's absolutely ruthless.
This is Meghan's first trip to the snow. Dad took her up to Big Ben.
It's living a life that she's winning and she's doing all these great things, but the reality is not that. The reality is she's a joke.
I think the palace and the machinery of the monarchy needs to take Harry and Meghan more seriously and make sure that Harry and Meghan's antics don't impact the future.
What they need to do is face up to the blackmail that's coming from California and in some way or other undermine Harry's and Meghan's credibility.
Stuck because she was an actress who became a real princess, who wants to be an actress again, but has to continue to pretend to be a real princess.
There are so many telltale signs that something is clearly wrong with Meghan. And I don't mean it in a bad way, but I mean, how can you get your age so wrong? Did you know that in 1997, when she met Yasmin Bleeth, when she claims that she was working for Humphrey Yogurt, age 13, she also, or somebody with the name Meghan Markle, filled out a questionnaire for Sears, the company, claiming that she was 21 years of age.
Tom Bower, one of the most talked about royal biographers, may be preparing to reopen the Sussex story with a new edition that promises fresh revelations about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's relationship. And if his past work is any indication, it won't be a gentle update. It'll be a deep dig for details people don't want resurfacing.
I choose people who don't want to be written about on the whole, whose lives are shrouded in mystery and they want to hide their secrets. And I just love digging away to find out what they don't want to.
A new claim tied to Tom Bower has reportedly set off alarms. Because this time, the fallout isn't just PR drama. The implication is that Meghan's team may be bracing for something they can't easily dismiss.
Today felt like the perfect day to address a theory that many people out there have been speculating on, that Meghan Markle has lied about her age. Is she actually older?
Bower's name carries weight because his reputation is built on aggressive investigation. And now he's publicly raising questions about whether Meghan has been consistent about her age for decades. The argument being pushed here is that this isn't just another cycle of online speculation. It's being framed as a controversy backed by records, archives, paperwork, and claims of corroboration. Serious enough to provoke an angry reaction behind the scenes.
Is Megsy really lying about her age? Now, when you Google her, it says that she was born on the 4th of August 1981. And with today being her birthday, as of me recording this video, it's saying that she's 44 years old.
Before you can judge the claim, you have to understand the UFO. Tom Bower isn't presented as a click-chasing tabloid voice, but as an established investigative biographer known for writing hard-edged exposés on powerful public figures.
The data of the picture says that it was taken on May 8th, 2019. And he was born on May 6th, 2019. Can somebody please explain that to us?
The case for taking him seriously, according to this narrative, is his process. Years of sourcing, heavy fact-checking, and exhaustive interviews. And in 2022, he released Revenge, a book that portrayed Meghan in an intensely critical light, painting her public climb as strategic and calculated.
Meghan is a consummate survival actress. And you raise this extraordinary beginning of the year when she carved 2025 in the sand. And, you know, it's a very, very interesting image that it came out on New Year's Day this year, because the previous weeks had been absolutely turgid and torrid for her. She had been dubbed Duchess Difficult again. There had been allegations of bullying.
Tyrant in high heel.
Now the video pivots to what it frames as the smoking gun. A reported magazine entry from March 1997 that allegedly lists Meghan as 21. If her commonly reported birth year is accurate, the numbers wouldn't align, creating the kind of discrepancy that fuels bigger questions.
August 4th, 40 years ago, Meghan was born, and she was born as a C-section, so she was put in my...
The key point being emphasized is that this claim isn't presented as a casual find. It's described as something Bauer allegedly verified through archives and publication checks. From there, the video widens the stakes. If the age timeline is wrong, it could ripple into other parts of her biography and raise new scrutiny about how official narratives were constructed, why they changed, and what else might not match.
What the hell is going on with this woman? Is she adopted or is she just a natural? I mean, is she such a liar she can't even understand that we can all see her?
Next comes another alleged inconsistency. The video claims Meghan's IMDb history once reflected a different birth year, and argues that entertainment industry pressure creates a motive because casting opportunities often shrink as performers get older. The suggestion is simple. If competing meant appearing younger, the temptation to edit the timeline would be real.
You're wondering, why does her age matter at all? Because her age would also have an impact on her ability to have children. Because if Meghan Markle is 4 years older than what we have been led to believe, it makes it even more difficult to believe that she was able to get pregnant so quickly. Never mind the hysterectomy stories that her family have told. But that would make it more difficult because that would make Meghan Markle near 50.
Then the focus shifts to her university years, because even a clean graduation date can become suspicious if the surrounding timelines don't match the ages of the people around you.
I believe she had a clear motive for writing family off because it would seemingly justify and perhaps delay the revelation of all of the lies that she had told the royal family.
The video claims Bauer traced classmates, alumni listings, and group photos, and that what he allegedly found didn't feel consistent with the commonly cited age, because many peers from that era are described as being older than expected.
Stupidly put out so many dumb lies, the car chase, etc., that now nobody believes anything they say. And that's scary and dangerous because it sometimes puts us off in directions that we need to be better about. But man, the more and more I look at and research this stuff, I'm not obsessed with these two. I'm looking at them with a very clear eye.
A specific group photo is used as the centerpiece. The argument is that if people in that circle were born in the early 1970s, then either Meghan was unusually younger than the group, or she was closer in age to them than publicly stated. The narration leans on the idea of an open secret and turns it into the driving question. If something as basic as age was allegedly flexible, what else might be?
What is going on here? Why the secrecy around this woman's birth certificate? Why the secrecy? Why the mistakes in age that are so blatant for others? And you know what? This is like her education in university, that she claims that she double major in international relations and theater when Northwestern has never given a major in international relations.
Now the story tightens around family testimony, especially Meghan's father. The video frames it as telling that someone who has spoken publicly so often would become vague or evasive when asked directly about a birth year, reinforcing the theme that the clean answer isn't being offered.
Don't ignore them if they keep popping up doing stuff like this. That's the thing. We're kind of in a mutually abusive, toxic relationship, aren't we? The media and Harry and Meghan, because they keep doing stuff wanting attention. Then they get quite adverse reaction most of the time. Then they react really badly to the reaction. And so it goes on.
Well, what it really boils down to is the threat they offer. If the threat was punctured, which I hope my book will...
The narration underlines the tension. Why would a parent hesitate over something so straightforward, unless the officially repeated version isn't the full story? That hesitation becomes part of the video's broader pattern argument. Small pauses, when stacked together, start to look like a trail.
This crisis won't die down until the irrefutable truth comes out.
Well, that's her first wedding in Jamaica. That's one of my favorite pictures. I'd like to have that experience with my grand.
From there, the age gap claim becomes another pressure point. If Meghan and Samantha were closer in age than the public story suggests, the video argues that it would support a different birth year range. and make the official gap feel manufactured rather than natural.
She met Harry. You had no doubt she was your sister.
My little sister, though. My little sis.
I would have loved to have had siblings. That's why I'm so excited to be pregnant, so that Archie has some.
Well, I have to ask, is this woman crazy? Is she that much of a liar, or is there something deeper? Because just to give you another example, she claims that she was 13 years of age when she started to work for Humphrey Yogurt, in spite of the fact that Humphrey Yogurt has said that they have never employed anybody at age 13. Number two, she claims that when she started working at Humphrey Yogurt, she ran into Yasmin Bleeth, and that she congratulated Yasmin Bleeth for her deodorant commercial. Yasmin Bleeth didn't do that deodorant commercial until 1997.
The video then shifts into career math. If her public birth year is correct, certain early jobs align neatly with industry expectations. But if she were older, the timeline would take on a different meaning, one that suggests pressure, repositioning, and a stronger incentive to manage her public age. The narration paints a broader industry reality.
Are you telling me that that commercial, which was so pivotal for Meghan Markle, she didn't even bother to watch so she can recount the story and say when I was 12 rather than when I was 11? Because the commercial is out in the public domain, and I will leave the link for you guys to go watch it. It was done when she was 12 years of age. So there is something that is not connecting.
Casting is brutal. Age thresholds can be silent deal breakers, and unknown plus older often narrows roles fast. Yes, so the video frames Meghan's long grind, small parts, slow momentum, and then a breakthrough later, as a timeline that could look different depending on which age you believe. It culminates in the implication that a revised age would make certain career milestones harder to explain, unless age was being quietly curated. Next, the video highlights a documentary detail.
Is living a life that she's winning and she's doing all these great things, but the reality is not that. The reality is she's a joke.
Archie's birth certificate is described as having been amended after filing, with Meghan's naming information altered, presented here as an unusual move that raises questions about traceability and record consistency. The narration frames the amendment as a paper trail issue. Names connect records, school documents, passports, prior filings, and the claim is that removing standard identifiers can make cross-referencing harder. In this telling, the change isn't portrayed as cosmetic, it's framed as defensive, because any deep audit might reveal mismatches the public hasn't seen. The story returns to motive. The video argues that actions designed to reduce traceability don't match the behavior of someone with nothing to fear, setting up the next question. What happened when Bauer's book and claims hit the public? The response is presented as aggressive but limited. Legal threats, demands, denials, yet no definitive public document released to end the speculation. The video frames that silence as strategic, implying that the loudest tool available was pressure, not proof. And then comes the central inference. If the timeline were airtight, releasing evidence would shut the story down. The video claims the opposite happened. No clean closure is only more quiet, fueling the suggestion that the truth may not match the public biography. Finally, the narration escalates into legal territory. If incorrect age information appeared on official forms, contracts, certificates, or other legal documents, the video frames it as potentially serious, shifting the story from gossip into consequences. The video then cites alleged expert input. If false information was used in formal marriage documentation, it argues there could be implications for legitimacy, titles, and the wider framework around the marriage, presented as not guaranteed, but potentially destabilizing if proven. The narration widens the risk again, this time to business. If major partners were given inaccurate biographical details, the video claims contracts could be challenged, money could be at stake. Yeah, and the incentive to keep the issue contained would be financial, not just reputational. Now the video moves into its most volatile territory. Long-running rumors, it says Bauer neither confirmed nor fully dismissed. The narration frames gaps in the timeline as the oxygen that keeps extreme theories alive, arguing that if the age baseline shifts, the rest of the chronology becomes easier for rumor to exploit. The wrap-up positions Bauer's approach as a courtroom-style presentation, not an explicit declaration of a real age, but a stack of claims and materials meant to push readers toward a conclusion. The video's key takeaway is that the alleged inconsistency isn't limited to a number. It's framed as a broader pattern of biographical storytelling. The ending thesis is blunt. The video argues Meghan's public persona is a carefully assembled performance, less revealed truth, and more managed narrative. And it claims that as investigators and critics keep pressing, the seams show, turning old questions into a story that won't stay buried. So the video lands on its final hook, 44 or older. Whatever the truth is, it argues the controversy survives because definitive documentation hasn't been put forward publicly. Until that happens, the narration suggests the speculation will keep regenerating, and the audience is invited to stay tuned for more.